people who we need to look after that are our own, i.e. our young people and people that are returning from having paid their price to the society and making sure they have a place to replug in.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm, is that kind
Yeah,
of a...
exactly. And you know what, one of the things that I really want to make sure that I put out there in terms of people coming back to society after they've paid their debt. I heard somebody say that when you go away to jail, it's like you have a life sentence because you come out, you've done your time, you come out, you can't apply for financial aid, you can't apply for general aid, people don't want you to live in their neighborhood. And so there's all these barriers that we put out for people to become productive citizens, and then we wonder why they go back to their old ways. And so we really have to look at the whole notion. You know, the governor changed the name of the Department of Corrections to include rehabilitation. I'm not sure if he was sincere in that because he must have a different definition of rehabilitation. But typically in the state of California, the Department of Corrections has been looked at as punitive, not rehabilitative. And so we really, as a community, need to be honest in whether or not we really want to reintegrate people back into our society.
That's a very good point. As we go forward, and the council's coming off a recess, what do we, help us understand what the focus for the city council will be as it's coming back in session? What do you think will be the driver for the council as we go from this point to the end of the year?
You are so funny. Yeah, I'm sorry. You say that like the council gets together and we're going to pick these 3 things and we're going to work on them.
Oh, it'd be great.
Yes.
Is that wishful thinking?
Yes, it would be.
We try to keep the comedy portion. I was going to save it for later, but
excuse me.
You're giving away my punchlines now. No, but the council does these retreats and sets goals, both legislative goals as well as budgetary goals. Is there a focus, do you think, for what the city council is working on going into the new year, or is it really somewhat confused?
I think I wouldn't necessarily say confused. It just isn't as organized as you would put it. I think that there are some issues that are coming back before the council that will definitely bring out some folks. We've got the inclusionary zoning issue coming back. We've got the Blue Ribbon Commission's findings coming back. We've got the disparity study coming back. And hopefully through that we can implement some of the things that we've talked about here today and some of the things that would be necessary in order to move an agenda in the community. I know that I want to work quite heavily on this whole contracting piece over the next year. I've actually been talking to some people, and yesterday I had a concert in the park, and one of the things we did was we did a survey asking people, we the city and the county put out a lot of programs. Are they relevant to you? If not, let us know. And so we had some people fill out that survey yesterday, and then on the next concert that I'm going to do, we're going to bring some services out to the community and reach people where they are so that we can begin to I'm always amazed when people aren't aware of the wealth of programs that are out there. And so let's bring them to people and see in real ways, can we bring enough to begin to support some of the change that we want to see in the neighborhood. But more than talk about the crime, I want to talk about the hundreds of thousands of people who live in the city who do right every day. Who just want to come home and live in a safe neighborhood.
Positive message.
And the only way that happens is if we look out for each other and if we work collectively to make our community safe. It doesn't happen by somebody from the outside coming in. It is truly that partnership. And so if I can't say anything enough, it's that partnership that's important. I always tell my constituents at community meetings, there's more of us than them. I think we can take them. Right? And so if we start putting pressure, maybe we can push them back inside and we can be on the outside and join.
Now, you're a native of New Orleans originally, and there are a lot of parallels. New Orleans, actually on an earlier show, we focused a lot on the size of Atlanta and their police force. And I think New Orleans is another good example where we're relatively the same size population-wise, but they have really almost twice our police force in New Orleans. What other parallels do you think you could New Orleans?
I was only born in New Orleans, didn't grow up there, and I wouldn't compare our police force to theirs. Theirs has been taken over by the feds because
Right.
they had a wealth of issues. They probably needed those additional officers to take care of some of their other
Fair
officers.
enough. Fair enough. Well, that'll keep us on the straight and narrow. As a wrap up, really, with a new mayor and his 7 months now as the mayor of Oakland, it appears, and we had an earlier interview with the president of the city council, where I think there's been a movement to see more collaboration and communication between some of the council members and Ignacio specifically and the new mayor. From your perspective, do you think the council and the mayor are working a little more closely together now?
You know, yeah, I pause on the question because I think that there are points at which we come together and we communicate and work with each other. I think the reality is that each one of us represents a district, and there are a wealth of needs in the district. And if I spent my entire day trying to figure out how I could talk to the mayor, then I wouldn't be addressing the needs of my constituents in the district. And so when I need to talk to the mayor, he's been responsive to me.
And by the way, I really appreciate you taking the time the other day. We had an opportunity, both you and I, to meet with the mayor, and very productive dialogue, and found he and his staff very engaged on the issue. And we were specifically talking about workforce development issues, and then, of course, building capacity for our local contractors. So I do appreciate you taking that time for us to be able to engage that issue. I thought, the mayor was committed to continuing the work, as they say. So
Great.
it's
You're
good stuff.
welcome.
Well, Delsey, thanks for coming on. As the council comes into its new session and we address some of these issues, Blue Ribbon Commission, the housing issues, it'll be interesting to see the dialogue, and we hope you'll come back and join us for our show.
Most certainly.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.